These are the top 5 bad investments in Magic the Gathering. These are the 5 types of cards and card products to avoid completely if you're worried about the long-term value of your collection. Here we go. First up, we've got old foils. They are certainly rare and they are super pretty. I love old foils. But unless you're talking key cards like Dark Ritual and Brainstorm from Masks, they tend to be graded harshly on condition and are hard to move. I mean, I own my Magic cards to play them in decks because they're beautiful, and I own this in Snare, but I'm certainly never going to be able to sell it. Second on the list, we have cards that are artificially overvalued based on their collectability, not their actual utility in the game of Magic. Portal 3 Kingdoms is probably the biggest offender in this category just because there's no reserve list restriction on any of these cards, so any of them can get reprinted at any time. I mean, take Sun Quan, Lord of Wu, is a good example. After 20 years of no reprints and holding a price tag over 150 bucks, this Commander Masters version got printed last summer as a mythic rare. The card itself is moderately playable, and you can pick up the Commander Masters copy for like $5. But even the copy from Portal 3 Kingdoms has dropped by 40% just since the reprinting of last summer because it's just easier to get one now, and people don't need to hold on to it because it can get reprinted at any time. Really, the card most noticeable in this category is Imperial Recruiter, a card on its 5th printing now, and a card that, even though it's extremely playable, has dropped to a third of its peak value. And that's the Portal 3 Kingdoms version. You can buy a regular version of this card for like $6. It's just a good example of how easy it is for cards like this to get reprinted into the ground once they're actually in demand. And it definitely applies to more sets than just P3K, but I think we're all kind of expecting more printings of Seal coming up soon. Category 3, we're gonna go serialized cards. Kind of a newer addition to Magic's collectability portfolio, but definitely an area where I think most of the cards in this category are kind of worthless long term. Something like a serialized Mox Amber, or a Shockland, or a Soul Ring from, the Elven of the Dwarven sets probably will hold their values better, but we have no long-term price history on this to actually predict it, and I kind of think, unless you have a significant number, a 1, a 100, 420, 69, something like that, you're going to see most of these things drop. I mean, that Pariah Shield is worth $70, and it's just going down every week, because there's just not that much of a market for a super special Pariah Shield. Next up, we've got old sealed product. I mean, old sealed stuff used to be one of Magic's safest investments. You used to be able to put it in your closet, hold it for 10 years, and see it double, triple, quadruple. Any set where you can still open a piece of Power 9 will keep going up. To some degree, sets that can still open really expensive pieces of reserve list stuff, like Aya's Cradles, probably will at least maintain or keep going up. For any set that still has super, super rare serialized cards, like Elven and Dwarven Soul Rings, or maybe if it's a set that's got all the Shocklands like Rav Remastered, maybe you can expect long-term that might hold or go up, but not in the way that old product has. Most of it's going to maintain or go down, probably. There's just sealed, the bottom's falling out, unfortunately. The final category is stuff that's expensive on the reserve list just because it's on the reserve list. Basically, cards that can't get reprinted, but people don't play in decks. The reserve list will increase in value, right? The rare cards especially, but a lot of the mid-tier stuff, the really cheap stuff, cards that are only expensive because they're rare and have no utility, you can expect those to maintain or probably go down, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe a $3 card becomes worth $5 if you hold on to it for like another 5 or 10 years, but they're not good investments to just buy because you're certainly not playing these cards, right? Power, Dual Lands, Mox Diamonds, Gaia's Cradle, stuff like that, Grim Monolith, Wheel of Fortune, that's like the best investment you can make in all of Magic. That and the cards you plan on actually playing in your decks, right? I value that over basically any Magic investment, because again, I do it to play the cards, not just to own them. Anyway, those are my picks for the top 5 worst investments in Magic. Let me know if you agree or disagree below in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.